The chronology of human history has attracted the attention of scientists, philosophers, and curious people for centuries. We all know the story from the Bible about Adam and Eve. But were these two people really the first people on Earth? More and more researchers are inclined to believe that modern humans were not the first intelligent beings to live on this planet. The Bible clearly states that Elohim are gods, in the plural and not God, in the singular, because in the singular the word God sounds like El or Eloh. The Bible originally spoke of a whole pantheon of gods who created people. Or the famous phrase of one in the book of Genesis, it is literally written like this: "Then God said, 'Man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He cannot reach out his hand and take the fruit of the tree of life also and eat it and live forever.'" One of us. Does that mean there were many gods? The idea that there may have been a pre-Adamite civilization is not new. The origins of human civilization have been debated since 170 CE. Over the years, many theories have emerged, prompting logical thinkers to look deeper and question what they have been taught. There are clear passages in the scriptures about events that have happened and will happen at some point. The Talmud says that human existence runs on a 7,000-year cycle. The world has existed for 6,000 years, and then for 1,000 years it was destroyed. So, does that make the Earth just over 6,000 years old? However, there is plenty of scientific evidence that suggests our planet is much older. Original. The biblical texts have been translated many times, and the version that has survived to this day has only existed since the 1600s. Various Christian churches have repeatedly changed the text of the Holy Scriptures and the structure of the book itself over time due to various circumstances. It is possible that some information may have been lost in editing and translation, and we do not know the whole story. Yes, traditionally science and religion are diametrically opposed. Religion requires faith, and science requires facts. However, scientific discoveries in recent years seem to be closing this gap. Science is receiving more and more evidence that the Bible is right in every word written in it. At the same time, ancient cities are being discovered all over the world. These cities are not on mountaintops or in the wilderness of forests, but in the depths of ocean waters. Port Royal in Jamaica, the City of Lions on Lake Qiandao in China, the sunken city of Nero, Cleopatra's Palace in Alexandria, and Thonis Heracleion in Egypt, the sunken city in Cuba, Dwarka in India, underwater the Yonaguni Pyramids in Japan. What are these ancient underwater cities? Are they evidence of a pre-Adamite civilization? Many of them are complex in structure and demonstrate a level of technology that scientists say was impossible at the time. And of particular interest are the traces of a mysterious ancient civilization in Antarctica. In 2014, Dr. Neil Ross and a team of researchers from the University of Bristol's Center for Glaciology published a new discovery: the Grand Canyon in West Antarctica. Despite the fact that the depression is located under several kilometers of ice, it is so huge that it can be seen from space. Some theorists have rushed to suggest that representatives of some ancient civilization could have lived in Antarctica before the Great Ice Age. Dr. Ross himself summed up that the main goal of his research is to show how much we still have to learn about our planet. But is it possible that deep under centuries-old glaciers, there could be ruins much older than the remains of a city in Göbekli Tepe in Turkey? 11,600 years old? There may be a lot we don't know yet. For example, in 1929, a map was discovered in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul depicting Antarctica before the continent was covered in ice. Using radiocarbon dating, archaeologists were able to discover that the map was created by Turkish admiral and cartographer Peri Reis, who drew it in 1513. That is, hundreds of years before the continent was discovered. This document has stumped scientists who still cannot understand where Reis got his knowledge from. Researcher David Wilcock is convinced that the legend of the Atlanteans is supported by an incredible number of provable facts, and everything that we accepted as knowledge about human history must be rewritten. After all, We are talking about the most ancient civilizations that preceded the generally accepted ones. Today, most researchers believe that the ancestors of Native Americans came across the Bering Land Bridge, and that they had only 4 genotypes, A, B, C, and D. In 2011, geochemist Stacy Lowry found evidence that the Americas and Antarctica were once connected, long before millions of years of continental drift pulled them apart. Since then, a growing body of research by geologists has shown that the composition of magnetic isotopes in rocks taken from the coast of Antarctica are indistinguishable from rock samples from a gorge that runs through Michigan's Great Lakes. If Antarctica was once connected to the Americas, is it possible that both continents were inhabited by the same civilization of pre-Adamites who lived on the planet 55,000 years ago? Initial results from DNA analysis of ancient human remains suggest that at least some of their ancestry is not Native American. So researchers are considering the possibility that some of their ancestors came to the Americas from the Middle East. This also means that they did not cross the Bering Land Bridge like the rest of the Native American ancestors. And in 1928, in the desert of the Paracas Peninsula on the southern coast of Peru, archaeologist Julio Tello unearthed a cemetery filled with the most elongated skulls ever found. These specimens were about 3,000 years old. The discovery became known as the Paracas skulls. But what's more surprising is that since 1928, other specimens have been found in other parts of the world. The oldest elongated skull was found in a cave in Iraq. This therefore indicates that some of their distant ancestors came to the coast of Peru from the Middle East. Initial DNA analysis showed that these people from the coast of Peru had haplogroups that originated in Northern Europe or the Middle East. So who were these people really? Scientists have analyzed the DNA of a child who died at the age of 1.5 years and was a reddish blonde, which is not typical for a Native American. The analysis showed that he had segments of DNA that do not match any known ones belonging to the human race. It is unlikely that anyone from Europe or the Middle East would cross Asia on foot to reach North America. Therefore, ancient people could have had seafaring skills. They may even have known how to build seagoing ships and how to sail thousands of years before the Vikings and Columbus. Even today, some primitive African and Polynesian tribes practice binding the skulls of newborn children in order to make them longer. Perhaps in ancient times, they had some gods who had heads of exactly these shapes, and in this way, ancient people tried to imitate them. Unfortunately, apart from versions, guesses, and indirect hints, scientists do not yet have any significant evidence in favor of the existence of pre-human civilizations of pre-Adamites on our planet. Humanity has too little data for this.